Breaking news! Things are hot behind the scenes at the Detroit Lions, and Brad Holmes is working day and night to make the most of this draft. We have one name in particular that we need to talk about. But first, make sure you've already hit the like button if you believe the Lions will make it to the playoffs this season and even the Super Bowl. If possible, comment something like, "Go Lions! I want to see you in the Super Bowl." Now let's talk about him, Zadarius Smith. Just the name alone stirs up mixed feelings among Detroit Lions fans. Let's rewind this tape a little, because this isn't just about a player, it's about a moment. A moment when the Detroit Lions had something special, knew it, and let it go for a few $1 million. We all remember how brutal that pass rush was before the 2024 trade deadline. We were thin, we were injured, we were desperate, and Brad Holmes pulled the trigger, trading for Zadarius Smith. Boom! And just like that, Detroit had a spark, and Smith wasted no time showing why he was brought here. Not just racking up sacks and pressuring the quarterback, he brought leadership, presence, and poise. He was the man, the only player on that line, besides Aidan Hutchinson, who seemed to know what he was doing on every snap. You could feel his energy through the screen. But here's where it stings. Detroit knew the contract they were taking on. They knew what they were getting in Zadarius. And still, as the offseason rolled around, they let him go. Just like that, not because he underperformed, far from it, but because he was too expensive, $11 million. That's what it would have cost. $11 million for one of the top 5 most consistent pass rushers over the last 3 seasons. Let that sink in. According to data from the 33rd team, only Micah Parsons, Nick Bosa, Myles Garrett, and Trey Hendrickson have pressured the quarterback at a higher rate. Those names are on massive deals. And Smith, he's sitting out here, cut, tweeting out a simple thinking face emoji that might as well be a middle finger to the decision makers in Allen Park. Now, don't miss the subtle brilliance in that emoji. That wasn't a random post. That wasn't some vague vibe check. That was Zadarius Smith asking the world a question. Why am I not on a team that needed me, wanted me, traded for me, and benefited from me? It's a good question, because if you watched any of the games he played, especially that showdown against Chicago, you saw it. You saw the difference when he was on the field, disrupting plays, and coaching up younger guys like Levi and Josh Pascal. Even in street clothes against Houston, the man was on the sideline, guiding, teaching. That's leadership you don't find in the draft or pick up off the street. Let's not pretend this wasn't a calculated move by Detroit. Brad Holmes even said it himself. This was the first time the Lions had to trade for a pass rusher at the deadline. That's how desperate the situation was. And then, what do they do after the season ends? Cut him. Salary cap excuses, rookie deals coming due. We've heard it all before. But you don't throw away the one guy who consistently delivered because you might need the money down the line. That's not how contenders operate. And here's what's wild. Every team listed above Smith on that pass rush efficiency chart either already got paid or is about to cash in. Parsons, Bosa, Garrett, they're all making $20 million plus. But Detroit had the cheapest elite pass rusher on the list, and they said, nah, too much. That's not just a front office misstep. That's a gut punch to the locker room, to the fan base, and to any free agent watching how Detroit treats its contributors. Smith's presence extended beyond stats. His impact was felt on every snap, in every huddle, on the sideline when he wasn't even playing. That Houston game, when we couldn't get to C.J. Stroud to save our lives, Smith wasn't in pads, but he was in guys' ears, making adjustments, guiding younger linemen. And after halftime, we started to get to Stroud. That's not coincidence. That's experience. That's mentorship. That's the kind of leadership you can't buy. But ironically, Detroit wasn't even willing to pay for it. And now, fans are left wondering, what's next? Does Smith even consider coming back? He's still in Detroit, thanks to his personal life. The Lions are in touch with his agent. But why would he come back at a discount? Would you? He came here, did his job, excelled, and when it came time for Detroit to return the favor with a fair deal, they pulled the plug. That doesn't sit right. Not with fans, not with Smith, and definitely not with a team trying to build a Super Bowl contender. You get what you pay for. And if the Lions think they're going to cheat their way into contention, they're dreaming. The rent is coming due. Rookie contracts are expiring soon. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Jahmyr Gibbs. The window is now, and Zadarius Smith should have been part of that push. But instead, we're here, watching a thinking face emoji and trying to figure out what went wrong. So here's the question, Lions fans, what do you think that emoji means? Do you think it was just a post, or was Smith sending a message to Brad Holmes and the rest of the league? And more importantly, do you think Detroit made a mistake by letting him go? Let me know what you think in the comments below, because this one is going to sting for a while. And let's really break this down, because the layers to this situation run deep. It's not just about what Zadarius Smith did on the field, it's about what he represented off of it. This was a veteran presence in a locker room full of young, hungry talent. A guy who's been through the wars. A guy who understands the grind of a 17-game season, who knows how to keep his body right, how to prep during the week, and how to show up on Sunday. That's not something you can teach easily. It's something that has to be experienced. And the Lions had that experience for the back half of the 2024 season, then willingly gave it up. Now, ask yourself this: if Aidan Hutchinson had been healthy all season and paired alongside Zadarius from the moment he arrived, what kind of monster duo would that have been? We're talking about a top-tier tandem, on par with the league's best. Instead, we watched a pieced-together defensive front limp through crucial games, relying on flashes from young guys while the one steady hand in the mix was sent packing over salary cap semantics. Let's also talk about the message this sends to the rest of the roster. You perform, you produce, you lead, and you still get cut? What does that say to a guy like Alan McNeil, or to young studs like Jack Campbell or Malcolm Rodriguez who are just now carving out their roles? It says, even if you ball out, we might not pay you. That undermines culture. That chips away at trust. And in a league where loyalty is already paper thin, that kind of move can create ripples that reach agents, veterans considering Detroit in free agency, even the draft picks who are now second-guessing the long-term stability of this organization. Now let's talk about what could happen next. Zadarius hasn't signed anywhere yet, and he's still hanging around Detroit. He's dating someone local, and that might be the only reason he hasn't already signed with a division rival. Because let's be real, how poetic would it be for him to line up in a Bears jersey or even a Vikings one, come flying off the edge and sack Jared Goff in a revenge game? You think that tweet with the thinking face was petty? Imagine the celebration after a game-winning sack in Ford Field. That's the kind of petty that lights a fire, and Smith is the kind of player who thrives off of that. Brad Holmes said they're keeping in touch with his agent. That's great, but what does that even mean? If you're not willing to meet the man halfway, especially after everything he did for this team, you're not serious. And if I'm Smith, I'm not taking a penny less than what I know I'm worth. The man is 32, still producing at a high level, and has already proven he can elevate the play of those around him. At this point in his career, the next contract has to be about respect just as much as it is about money. And Detroit showed their hand. They didn't respect his value. Now think about how we got here. The Lions were winning, the city buzzing, the fans locked in. We were right there. But one of the biggest reasons we couldn't close out games was that the defense couldn't get off the field, couldn't generate consistent pressure. And that's with Zadarius playing. Take him out of that equation, and what's left? Aidan Hutchinson can't do it all. He's double-teamed constantly. He's taken a beating. He needs a running mate. And the one guy who fit that role perfectly, who actually wanted to be here, you let walk. And this is where it really burns. The Lions had a discount deal. Out of the 6 players listed with the highest pressure rates over the last 3 seasons, Smith was the cheapest. By far. You don't get those kinds of deals often. So let me throw it back to you, Lions fans. What's your take? Did the Lions make the right call letting Zadarius Smith go? Do you think there's still a chance he comes back? Or do you see him suiting up for one of our NFC North rivals and making Detroit pay for their mistake? Drop your thoughts down below. Let's talk about it, because this one isn't just about stats. It's about heart, leadership, and knowing when to hold on to a good thing.